Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, we saw that buyers held ES above the 2109 to 2111 overnight support area. And on the upside, heading into the open, we have pre-market resistance at 1775 to 19 quarter. Overall, the buyers are in firm control here. And even if we break below the overnight range, it wouldn't shift the larger time frame bias. So given the strong breakout we saw yesterday in the S&P, as well as the Russell, with Russell especially making new all-time highs, the buy side can retain control even if we break below the overnight range. So heading into the open, we have support at 09.5 to 12, and ideally, buyers hold ES above that support zone, and from there we can get a upside move into the 22.5 to 24.5 initial resistance area, and then we have the all-time high at 26 quarter. But even if we broke below 09.5, it wouldn't shift the larger time frame bias, and responsive buyers could still be active at 0475 to 0675, and in the event of some extreme selling, 99 to 2101. But again, ideally you don't want to see a strong pullback today. So the ideal condition is that ES actually holds above the 09.5 to 12 pre-market support, and we continue balancing in the upper edge of the overnight range, and then we break out and test the 22.5 to 24.5 and the all-time high at 26 quarter. With the Russell already pushing to new all-time highs yesterday, at this point ES and NQ are essentially playing catch-up, and we can quite easily, at the very minimum, test 22.5 to 24.5 and quite possibly even set a marginal new all-time high. Now today is options expiration and quadruple witching, and we're heading into the weekend, and with the Greece issue still on the table, that just could result in some profit taking at 22.5 to 24.5 and the all-time high of 26 quarter. So that's just something to keep in mind, and for that reason, it makes sense to be a little bit more conservative today on your entries and exits. Now, the focus is still going to remain on the long side, and we're going to be very careful on any short setups that may present themselves, but still, we do want to be a little bit more conservative today with our exits than we were yesterday. Yesterday there was a lot of reward potential. The market was breaking out above a very defined balance, so it made sense to hold the trade for an extended target. Today, with just us heading into the weekend and it being options expiration, quadruple witching, it makes sense to be a little bit more cautious on the exits and not necessarily press it unless you're seeing very clear signs that the buyers are in very firm control, and we're seeing signs of broad market strength on the internals, and the momentum is again very positive with the NYC tick sustaining above zero and printing some really nice upside values. Then perhaps you can push it a little bit more, but the conservative idea is to actually take the exit near the initial resistance zone, around 22.5, 24.5, or 26 quarter all-time high, because first test of that area can result in some profit taking just because we are heading into the weekend and because of options expiration. So that's really the context heading into the open. Ideally, again, we want to see ES holding above the 09.5 to 12 area, but even if it breaks that zone, it doesn't necessarily mean the sell side is in control. So the only time it would make sense to be very cautious on long setups is if we were seeing some very clear-cut signs of extreme weakness. So that would mean, something like a minus 1500 or lower advanced decline reading, and the NYC tick completely holding below zero. But in every other scenario, even if the advanced decline line is minus 800 to 1000, it wouldn't necessarily mean that we're just going to completely sell off and reverse yesterday's upside breakout. So most likely, even if we break below pre-market support, we can still expect a long setup at 0475 to 0675, and that 99 to 2101 would be a breakout test from yesterday. And again, ideally, we don't want to see the market pulling back that much. If this is truly a strong market, then it should continue holding some of these more aggressive support areas and push up into the 22.5 to 24.5 and the 26 quarter all-time high. So those are our main thoughts heading into the open. Let's see if the buy side can retain control today, and we'll take it from there.